everyone, my name's Chrissy. I'm here to bring you a 45-minute power yoga session. The theme of today's session is letting go, so letting go of your day, your week, the month, the year, whatever you need to let go of, anything that no longer serves you. Do lots of big breaths out, lots of releasing breaths to try and see if we can let go of anything that doesn't serve us anymore. So for today's class you're going to need a mat. If you don't have a mat you can use a towel if you like. You might also want something like this. This is a yoga block, but if you don't have a yoga block you can use a hardback book, so that's absolutely fine to use that. If you have any injuries, please be careful, please exercise responsibly. If you have any medications that you need to have by your mat, please do get those. If you can, turn your phones off, just so you've not got any distractions, you've not got anything pulling you away from the practice. I'm going to actually turn off my watch because it beeps at me. There we go. And if you can, clear all your partners, children, pets away too, just so you've got a little bit of time just for you, carving out that special self-care time. If anything doesn't feel right today in the class, you don't have to do it. Everything that I say is just a suggestion, so you can always just sit back and take a breather and then join us when you're ready. So we're going to start today in a position called Supta Baddha Konasana. So we bring the soles of the feet together and we let the knees fall wide apart, and then we roll back and lie down on the mat. You've got a few options here. We're going to be here for a few moments. So very basic pose. You can just stay as you are, maybe bringing both hands to the belly or one hand to the heart, one hand to the belly. If you would like a little heart opener here, if maybe you're feeling a little bit sluggish and you feel like you want a little bit of an energy boost, so heart openers, back bends are very good for giving us a little bit of energy. You can bring your book or your block just in between your shoulder blades, and then you lie back, just kind of wiggle the prop around, let your head fall back onto the mat, and come back into the pose with this little nice heart open here, just opening up the upper back. And then maybe you extend the arms overhead, so really opening up all through the chest, through the shoulders. And perhaps you close down the eyes here. At any point it becomes a little bit too much to have your knees at this angle, you can always kind of reverse it, so take the feet out to the side, let the knees knock in, and that will just give your hips a little bit of a break. So come to settle into the body and settle into the breath. So noticing where you are on the mat, right here in this present moment, bringing yourself back to the present moment. If you're on, what you're having for dinner or what your day's looking like, bringing yourself back to the present moment. And once you feel like you're in the present moment, I want you to begin to think about your breathing. So bring some conscious awareness to your breath. If you haven't already, start to breathe in through the nose and out through the nose. And this style of breath, it builds heat in the body, which is perfect for a power class. But if at any point you're beginning to feel a little bit hot and bothered and you need a bit of a release, you can always just do a long exhale out through the mouth. And that'll just help you let go of any heat that you build, just maybe cool the body down a little bit. So begin to notice wherever you are, begin to notice how the body is moving with the breath. So perhaps the belly is expanding, perhaps the shoulders are lifting, perhaps the ribs are coming out to the side, three-dimensional breathing. Perhaps if you've got a prop underneath your upper back, perhaps your lower back is expanding, so you're expanding all ways as you breathe in. And then maybe you notice you soften, you surrender, you melt into the mat as you exhale. Just keep with this breath. So in yoga, all the poses that we do are completely optional. So I can tell you to do something, you absolutely don't have to do it. If you want to have a nap for 45 minutes, that's okay, that's fine. The only thing that is non-negotiable is the breath. We have to breathe. We have to breathe. And I want to see if you can use this class to keep conscious awareness of the breath. So you're always thinking of the breath, breathing in, breathing out. And if we continue to breathe in and breathe out and focus on that breathe in and breathe out, our mind won't wander as much. It may still wander, of course, the mind is made to wander, but hopefully it won't wander as much because we're focusing on the breath, and that's the only thing we can focus on at that present moment. If you have the arms overhead, begin to bring them down to the side of the body. And then I want you to very gently roll over onto your left side away from your prop. Move your prop from the side of the body, from underneath the body if you have it, and then bring the knees into the chest. So we're just going to take a very gentle twist here. So shifting the hips over to the left, letting the knees fall over to the right. Maybe you cactus the arms. Maybe you extend the arms if you have room, and maybe you take the gaze over the left side away from the knees. And if you'd like to keep the eyes closed here, that's fine. The only time I'd say maybe don't keep the eyes closed is if you're doing this class in the morning and it's making you feel a bit sleepy, closing your eyes. One more breath. Notice how the side of the body is opening up. Notice how the breath is different here. And then when you're ready, bring the hips back to center. Shift the hips over to the right hand side now. Let the knees drop over to the left. Maybe take the gaze over to the right hand side. Notice the sensations in the side of the body. Notice if you have to work harder to fill the body with oxygen. And sometimes you will, because we're trapping the lungs a little bit. They're not as open in this position, so it's completely normal to feel like that. When you're ready, come back to center. This time, bring your hands behind your knees. We're going to rock up and down the spine. You can just take these really, really small, take them a bit bigger. You can have a bit of fun here. And eventually, we're coming up to seated. We're going to cross the ankles, bring the hands down and shift back into a tabletop position, making sure shoulders are over the wrists, hips are over the knees. Spread the fingers out on the mat. We're going to work through our cat-cows now. So inhale to lift and exhale to round, keeping that conscious awareness of the breath. And feel free to take these in your own time. So, sometimes we might need something a little bit faster, sometimes a little bit slower. You can take these movements as big or as small as you like. Maybe you even bring a little bit of movement into the hips. Maybe you bring the weight back and forth. There's really no right or wrong way to do it. Just if you can really stay with that breath. In and out through the nose. Beautiful. Okay, when you're ready, we bring the left hand into the middle of the mat and we inhale, lift the right arm all the way up into the sky. Exhale, thread the hand underneath and rest down on your shoulder blade. So on your right shoulder blade, let the face fall down. You're in your thread the needle. Take one more breath here. And then when you're ready, inhale, take the arm all the way back up and then bring it down into the middle of the mat now, swapping over to the other side. Inhale, lifting the arm all the way up, really extend. Exhale, threading it through. Plant that left shoulder blade down. Relaxing the head on the floor. One more breath. And then when you're ready, inhale. Take that hand all the way back up, bring it down. Reset yourself, respread the fingers, tuck the toes and push back to your first downward facing dog. Maybe you pedal out the feet here, maybe you want a little bit of movement. Make sure if you are pedaling out the feet, you're really thinking about being mindful. You know, we're not at a stepper on the gym, we're not on a stepper at the gym. Conscious movement, conscious breath. Come to find some stillness here. And then when you're ready, we're going to inhale the right foot behind you, keeping the hips nice and square. Doesn't have to come up high, it can just literally be lifted off the floor. And then we're going to bring that knee in towards the chest, hug it tightly. And then very gently let that right foot come between the hands. Use the hands to pull the foot in between the hands if it doesn't quite reach. Drop the left knee down. We're going to inhale, take a breath, lift the arms all the way up. And feel that sensation in the hip flexor, maybe feeling a little bit of a back bend here. Maybe you feel something on the thighs. And then exhale, plant the hands, step straight back to downward facing dog, other side. Inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, hug that knee towards the chest. Lightly step the foot in between the hands, drop that right knee down. Inhale, lifting all the way up. Maybe taking it into a slight back bend here. And then exhale, plant the hands. This time step up to the top of the mat. Feet hip width distance apart. Nice bend in the knees. Dropping the head down. And we're really thinking about chest to knees here. So really drop everything down. Make the weight of the head heavy. And then hold on to your opposite elbows. But have a think about what way you normally do it. So grab them normally. And then I want you to consciously swap around, because sometimes when we do things in an everyday life, we just sort of go to do them and we just do them really habitually. But I really want you to think about the mindfulness that comes with this. So thinking about why you pick a certain side, you know, so just have a little go at that, have a little play, drop the head down, just maybe sway side to side, letting the head hang. And then when you're ready, release the hands, roll all the way up to standing, and imagine that there's a prize for whoever gets there last. So you're coming up super duper slowly. Big shoulder roll all the way back. And then heel toe the feet together. So toes touching, heels slightly apart. Bring the hands to heart center. You can close down the eyes and maybe set an intention for today's practice. Maybe you offer your practice up to a loved one. Maybe you offer your practice up to yourself. When you've set your intention, take a big breath in. Exhale through the mouth. Beautiful. Blink the eyes open. Inhale, reach the arms all the way up to the sky. Gaze up at thumbs. Exhale, bending from the hips. Bend the knees if you need to. Plant the hands, tuck the chin to the chest. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands down onto the mat. Step back into plank. Hold for a moment in your plank, and then we exhale, lower the knees, chest and chin. We use the strength of the arms to pull ourselves forward into baby cobra. Roll the shoulders back, clip the elbows together, engage the feet, push all 10 toes into the mat. So engaged that maybe your kneecaps lift off the floor. Exhale, tuck the toes under, push back. Downward facing dog. 3 breaths here. Just feeling around in the shape. Maybe you keep the knees bent today so that you can lengthen the back. Take one more breath. And then look forward, see where you're headed, and step right, left to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift, gaze is forward. Exhale, empty down and fold. Inhale, rise all the way up to standing, bring the arms overhead, straight back down, hinging from the hips, bend the knees if you need to, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthen the spine, lengthen the legs. Exhale, plant the hands, step back into plank. Hold for a moment in your plank, and then on your exhale, we lower down knees, chest and chin, Ashtanga Namaskara. Inhale, baby cobra, Bhujangasana. Engage your feet, engage the legs. Tuck the toes on your exhale, push back. Downward facing dog. Think about the shape now that you've been here. You've been here before. Think about lengthening the spine. So lengthening the spine, we're pushing the hands into the earth so much that they're pushing us away from the earth. And then maybe you imagine I've got your hip creases in the room and I'm just slightly lifting your hips towards the sky to really create some nice length in the spine. On your next exhale, come high onto the tippy toes, look forward, see where you're headed, step left, right to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, empty down and fold. Inhale, rise all the way up to standing, squeeze the belly and bring the arms all the way overhead, straight back down. Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana, maybe fingertips stay on the floor, squeeze the belly in. Exhale, plant the hands, step back to plank. Now your choice, your vinyasa. We either keep with our knees, chest, chin, or we bring the shoulders forward, come halfway down to our Chaturanga Dandasana, and then tuck our toes under and come into our upward facing dog. Now just take a moment to check out my form in downward facing dog. Only my hands and the tops of my feet are on the floor. Everything else is lifted up. You can then roll over the feet, move back to downward facing dog. Think about now the top of your body. So think about rolling the elbows in towards your face so that you create more length across the body. Maybe see if you can roll the shoulders away from the ears slightly and maybe just give the head a little shake. Yes and no, to make sure there's no tension in the head. Remember, you always have child's pose instead of downward facing dog. When you're ready, come high onto the tippy toes, look forward to see where you're headed, and then step or lightly float to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift, squeeze the belly in. Exhale, empty down and fold. Inhale, root to rise, push the feet into the earth, bring the arms all the way above the head, and exhale, bring the hands into heart center. Just take a moment, maybe you just cross your hands over your heart, and just notice any heat you've built in the body. Maybe we take one clearing breath out, in through the nose, out through the mouth. Blink the eyes open. Inhale, sit nice and low into your chair, Utkatasana. Squeeze the belly in. The weight is back. If you glance down, you should be able to see your toes wiggling about. See if you can go a little bit deeper. Roll those shoulders away from the ears. Exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift and lengthen. Exhale, plant the hands, step back to plank. Hold for a moment in your plank, your vinyasa, your choice. Either knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga. Bhujangasana, baby cobra, or upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. This time we're moving into a warrior one. Plant the left foot on the floor, the sole of the left foot, and turn the foot out slightly. Take the right foot forward, and then just square off the hips here. So pull the right hip back, left hip forward. When you're ready, inhale, lift the arms up into the sky. So warrior one is very different to warrior two. So warrior two, I'll just turn around so you can see me.
Warrior 2, we just open the hips to the side so it feels a lot easier. Warrior 1, well, for me anyway, it feels like I'm really having to work on pulling my hips and squaring my hips back. So think about all that work, pulling that right hip back, left hip forward, so that you're really trying to square off to the room. And you can make your feet a lot wider if that helps as well, to square off the hips. And then on your exhale, plant the hands down, step back, Vinyasa, or skip it, either knees, chest, chin, chaturanga, bhujangasana, upward facing dog, downward facing dog when you're ready. Turn the right foot out, plant the heel down, step the left foot towards the top of the mat, square off your hips, pull that left hip back. When you're ready, lift the arms into the air, Warrior 1, pull the belly in. Think about the work we did on the other side, pulling that left hip back, squaring the hips to the front of the room. Remember, you can take up more space on your mat, you can widen the legs if that feels better for you. Exhale, plant the hands down, step back, flow through your Vinyasa or skip it, and we all meet back in downward facing dog when you're ready. Really nice, everyone. Take a few breaths here, a few clearing breaths. In through the nose, out through the mouth. And again, in through the nose, out through the mouth. Beautiful. Okay, so this time we're going to inhale, lift our right leg into the sky. We're going to allow the leg to turn out this time, so you can really turn that foot out. And then exhale, sweep the knee in towards the chest. Plant it lightly down in between the hands. Keep the back foot active this time and lift it up. We inhale, lift up into our high crescent lunge. Feel the sensation on the hip flexor maybe. You still have to do that work to square off the hips. Maybe it doesn't feel quite as intense as Warrior 1. Really make sure that back foot is active. Beautiful, really nice. And when you're ready, we're turning the foot out, setting it down, splitting the room in half, coming into our Warrior 2. I'm going to turn around so you can see me. And think about your Warrior 2 here. So something that we sometimes have the habit of doing is kind of leaning forwards a little bit. So maybe I'm exaggerating like this, but we just sort of have our body forward. So really make sure that your body is sort of right, plonked right in the center of your pelvis. And then we're rolling the shoulders away from the ears, energy through the fingertips. And we're thinking about that front knee tracking over the little toe of the front foot. So it's not rolling in, it's rolling out. You can go deeper on that bend. Keep breathing, conscious breath. Beautiful. Flip the front palm so it's facing up. Lift up into your reverse warrior. Breathe here, feel the sensation on the right hand side of the body. And you've got that two-way pulse. Your right hand is lifting up into the sky, but equally your legs are pulling down into the earth. They're really super grounded. So you've got those opposing forces working. Beautiful. And then when you're ready, keep the hands as they are, the arms as they are, but straighten out through that front leg into your reverse triangle. So maybe feel the difference in the sensation, if there is a difference. So for me, I feel it more round the side of the body and towards the back when I straighten the leg. Beautiful. And then we're going to re-bend that front leg. Plant the right forearm onto right thigh, sweep the left hand all the way across and above the face into our extended side angle. And remember that the energetic quality of the pose is really opening up that chest towards the ceiling. So we're not curving in, really opening up. Big breaths here. Beautiful work. Okay, lift that top hand right into the sky. Drop the gaze so you're looking over that front foot, and then we're going to sweep our right arm across and in front of us and potentially come into our half moon. So half moon is here. Now what can be quite nice is if you bring your prop to the front of your mat and you use that to support your hand. So that's going to be quite helpful there. If you're having a bit of an off day and you're not fancying your balance pose here, what you can do is just stay here, so you've still got the energetic quality of the pose, you're still opening, expanding the chest, but maybe you just lift the foot and plant it back down, lift the foot and plant it back down. So loads of options there. If you're in your half moon, take one more breath, and then very slowly come back to warrior two, land lightly, windmill the arms down, step back, flow through your vinyasa or skip it, and we all meet back in downward facing dog. Everyone drop the knees and come back to either a seated meditation or a child's pose. Close down the eyes. Let's just take 3 clearing breaths. Forget about that side. It's gone. It's done. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. And again, inhale. Exhale. Last time, inhale. Exhale. Beautiful work. Maybe you need a couple more breaths here. If you do, that's absolutely fine. When you're ready, come back and join us in our downward facing dog. Inhale, take the left leg into the sky, turning the leg out if you would like. Then squeeze that knee in towards the chest, step it lightly in between the hands. Keep the back foot nice and active, and when you're ready, sweep the arms up into your high crescent lunge. If you need to keep a slight bend in that back leg, that's fine. That's what I'm going to do at the moment because I've got a slight hamstring issue today, so this feels a lot nicer for me. So choose wisely when you're doing. You don't have to do everything as you feel it might be expected of you. You can do things that are good for your body today. And when you're ready, set the back heel down, split the room in half, come into warrior two on the other side. So again, making sure you're not reaching forward, you'll keep everything nice and centre. Nice deep bend in that front knee, make sure that the front knee is tracking out. You should be able to see your little toe, your big toe, sorry, if you look down. And then really root down through that back foot as well. Energy through the fingers. And then when you're ready, flip the front palm, lift up, come into your reverse warrior. Feeling that lovely sensation down the side of the body. Maybe you re-bend into that front leg. And really root down in that back foot, right to the outer edges of that back foot. When you're ready, straighten out the front leg, come into your reverse triangle. Notice how it feels to breathe here. Does it feel easier? Do you feel more open? Does it feel more difficult? Do you need to take bigger breaths? Beautiful. Re-bend that front knee, bring left forearm to left thigh, sweep the right arm across and above the face, extended side angle. Feeling maybe this sensation again on the right side of the body, opening up the chest towards the sky. Beautiful. One more breath. And then when you're ready, take that top arm all the way up to the sky. Maybe you grab your block, there it is, and bring it to the front of your mat. And then of course you're going to gaze down at that front foot, sweep the left arm across, maybe onto your block, maybe onto the floor, and then you lift into your half moon. See, I'm having a very wobbly day. We all have wobbly days. Remember, you have your variations if you just want to tap the foot, if you want to keep it down. The energetic quality of a pose is much more important than the physical quality of the pose. Really flex that back foot. One more breath. And then very slowly bend into that front leg. Come back into your warrior two. Beautiful work. And then bring the hands down, windmill the hands down. And step back into your plank. Drop the knees down. Just take a moment to set yourself up. So we're going to do 4 slow press ups. All the way down, all the way back up. So we're going to go down to the count of 4. We're going to come up to the count of 4. We're going to keep the elbows nice and squeezed into the body. And you've got a few ways you can do that. So we're all going to drop the knees, but if you feel like you need a bit more support, don't take the weight forward, take the weight back, and that will just help a little bit with not putting so much pressure into these press ups. So we're all going to go together. So when you're ready, we go down. 4, 3, 2, 1, up for 4, 3, 2, 1. Again, 4, 3, 2, 1, up for 4, 3, 2, 1. Third time. 4, 3, 2, 1, up for 4, 3, 2, 1. Last time. 4, 3, 2, 1, and up for 4, 3, 2, 1. Sit back into child's pose. Rest the forehead on the mat. 3 clearing breaths here. In through the nose, out through the mouth. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Last time, in through the nose, out through the mouth. Let go of the press ups. Let go if you did them well, let go if you did them badly, let go if you didn't do them, it's all fine. If you want to take a couple more moments in your child's pose, your balasana, you're very welcome to. When you're ready, we're going to come back to downward facing dog. So we spread the hands, tuck the toes, lift the hips into the sky. We're going to take our right foot into the sky, inhale. Exhale, setting up for pigeon. We're bringing the right knee behind the right wrist, taking that left foot as far back as it will go. Cheeky little look over to make sure the foot isn't sickling or doing any sort of weird crow thing. And then either maybe you stay here, or maybe you begin to drop the forearms to the floor. Maybe the head comes to the floor. If you have any knee pain, please come out of it straight away, and I will show you figure 4. So figure 4, you cross your right ankle over your left knee and you hug the left leg in towards the body. So that's your option for figure 4 if you have any knee pain. If you're in pigeon but it just doesn't feel that comfortable, you can set up, if you have any cushions or blankets around you, what you can do as well is you can prop something underneath the chest and you can just come down to rest like this as well. So we're just going to be in this pigeon for a little bit longer than we would normally hold, say, a warrior 2. So make sure you're somewhere that doesn't feel unbearable. And pigeon is a nice place to let go of things. We hold a lot of tension energetically in our hips, in our glutes. So it can be really nice to stay a little bit longer in these poses and just let that negative energy, any stagnant energy, just let it go. Every exhale, let it go from the body, let it melt away. Keep breathing, keep that conscious awareness on your breath. Take one more breath where you are, And then very slowly begin to walk your hands back in, so you lift your chest up, tuck the toes under and come back to your downward facing dog. Same thing on the other side. Inhale, lift that left leg into the sky. Exhale, bring it in through the chest. Left knee behind left wrist. Take right leg as far back as it will go. Cheeky look over to make sure it's not sickled. And then same thing on the other side if it feels good for you. If you need something different, take something different. So, for example, if you feel like on this side, actually my knee hurts on this side, maybe you want to come into figure 4. Maybe you want to prop the body up a little bit. Maybe you don't let your body fall down to the ground. Loads of different options. Keep that conscious awareness of the breath, and perhaps you do a few clearing breaths here if that's something that you'd like to do. So you breathe in through the nose and you exhale, letting it all out through the mouth. And when you're ready, take one more breath where you are. And then begin to walk your hands back towards the body. Tuck the toes under and come back to downward facing dog. When you're ready, take the hands a little bit wider, so they're a little bit more towards the outer edges of the mat. We're going to jump through. So you don't have to jump through, you can step through if you like. But if you want, you're just going to have a little practice, just have a little practice of a little bounce. And then when you're ready, you're just going to hop the feet in and sit down on your bottom. Swing the legs through. Bring the legs out long. And we're going to come into Paschimottanasana, forward fold. So I'm going to keep my legs bent today because my hamstring is quite sore. But if you'd like to keep your legs straight, that's absolutely fine. So I'm going to inhale, lengthen the body, and then exhale, I'm folding forwards over the legs. And because my legs are bent, I can really sort of cascade the spine down. But if you'd like to do it with straight legs, maybe you don't come as far down. We really want to avoid sort of this horrible curvedness of the back. We want to be thinking about lengthening from the hips here. So have a think about where you want to be. Remember, you don't always need to go to the absolute maximum. You know, in yoga we can sort of explore a little bit about scaling back if that's what the body needs. Very nice, everyone. Okay, very slowly. We're going to roll all the way up and then all the way down to the mat. So coming all the way onto the back. Letting everything go. Really, really nice. And then we're going to come into one more pose here. We're going to come into a supported shoulder stand. It's a really nice, easy pose. If you don't have a block or a book, you can use a wall. So what I want you to do is lift the hips. Place your prop, your support underneath your tailbone, and then you're just going to lift your legs into the air. And ideally your prop should make you feel really supported here, so you don't have to sort of hold the legs in the air. The legs are just held naturally. And you can just let the palms face up. And just spend a few moments letting the legs drain. It's really nice to do an inversion every day. Just letting the blood flow in a different direction. Our feet carry us around all day, so it's nice to just give them a break as well. Let's take 5 more breaths in your supported shoulder stand. Maybe closing the eyes. then when you're ready, you can either bend the knees and then just let the toes rest on the floor and then take your prop out, or if you prefer to just take the prop out before you bring the legs down, whatever feels better for you. And then once your back is flat on the mat, we're just going to bring the knees in towards the chest. Give yourself a nice big hug and just let the body sway side to side here. So maybe you roll around a little bit, easing the back out, and then go the other way. And then when you're ready, releasing everything, big exhale, extend everything out. Take up space on your mat. Hands can face up for receiving, but if you feel like you want a bit more energy, you can turn the palms down towards the earth. Let the feet fall out to the side. If you want to put any socks or blankets over you, then use this time to do so. We're going to take 3 clearing breaths here. So inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth. Sounds are welcome, so this time perhaps a big audible sigh out. So inhale through the nose. And then last time perhaps fluttering the lips. Inhale. There's nothing to do. There's nothing to manage. Give yourself a few moments of stillness and silence. I'll bring you out in a moment. If you would like to stay longer in your Shavasana, then please do. If you'd like to finish the class with me, then take a deep inhale and exhale. Begin to bring some movement into the fingertips, into the toes, perhaps circling the ankles, circling the wrists. Maybe you take a big stretch, take the arms overhead, stretch the legs out long. And then bring the knees in towards the chest and roll over onto your right hand side. Maybe using the right arm, right hand as a pillow for the face. And then no rush, in your own time, come to an easy seated position wherever that may be. Just think about prioritising a nice long spine. When you're ready, bring your hands in front of your heart space, Anahata. And symbolically bow your head down towards your heart space. Thank yourself for the work you've done today, for showing up, for taking some time to look after yourself. Thank you for letting me teach you today, sending you lots of love and light.
Thank you, yogis.